Look, Jenkins, channel's going up in the world. Got a stall for the workshop. Yeah, I know, like Val Doonican. All that Dean at Retro Mechanica. He's Flash. Hello and welcome to Tweed's Garage. What do you mean the stall's got to go? I've only just got it. No, Jenkins, the guy with half a finger, that was Dave Allen. But I like the stall. Hello, welcome to Tweed's Garage. In this video, we're doing more on the Honda Express. Second video, 20 years on parked on a drive, will it run? If you didn't see the last video, I'll put a link to it in the description so you can catch up. Things aren't looking, well, yeah, sort of 50-50 at the moment, but we're working our way through it. So last time you left me with a gunky carburetor, trying to clear that out. So we're moving on from that. So look down at the bench and see what we've been doing. Down there. Down there. So on the last video we managed to get the Dinner Lady Express apart after a bit of brutal hammering action and heating action. But no, not too much damage done. Well, no damage done, I don't think. And I think we can clean it up. This is the piston. I think it's just got moisture in there. And it's just a little bit of, I don't know, a little bit of rusting starting on the carbon against the cylinder. It just locked it all in. So put a bit of Croil in the rings, the top rings moving and sprung out quite nicely. The bottom one's still jammed in. I think the carbon's holding it in there. But what I'm going to do is give them a bit of a degreasing, try and get some of the carbon off, and then pop this cylinder head. That's okay, just carbon build up, needs cleaning off with a degrease. And the cylinder all looks, you know, it looks ropey, but when you actually look down it, it's pretty good. There's no ridge at the top. So I think just sort of clean it up, light wire brushing, rotary wire brush at the top, and then just run the hone lightly through there. I think that'll be as good as new. Yeah, might relieve the exhaust port out a little bit on the exit, blend it all in a bit, because you know, these dinner ladies are busy ladies. Small end seems okay, so we'll degrease that as well. And the gudgeon pin. And yeah, it did have a head gasket, but just because of all the muck and crap on it, you couldn't see where the head gasket stopped and the cylinder head started. But we managed to get it off. Mind you, look at that. Looks like it was starting to blow there. Getting ready for it. So good thing we've had it apart. So yeah, like I say, going to degrease all this. But also I've got the ultrasonic cleaner warming up. Going to just give these a wash first, and in the meantime I'm going to whip the carburetor off, strip that down, pop that in the ultrasonic cleaner, and then pop it back together. So we stuck the cylinder head, piston and barrel in a bucket of degreaser and gave them a good scrub, got the worst of it off, and warmed up the ultrasonic cleaner. And pop them in to give them a clean, and they've come up quite well. Yeah, could do a bit of wire brushing and a coat of black paint on the outside. But the bore, as I said earlier, yeah, it's really good. There's no ridge at the top. There's a little bit of staining inside the barrel there, but there's no pits in there. There's just little bits of sort of carbon or that rusty goop that was on the piston, just on the side there. Needs cleaning up. But I think with a hone popped through there, just to take the glaze off, that will come up really well. Cylinder head all in good order. It's cleaned up nicely. Got all the carbon off. So that's ready to go. We just finished cleaning the last few bits of rubbish off of it. And the piston, yes, cleans up nicely. Managed to get the top ring off. That come out okay. As I showed earlier, it was moving, so just managed to spring that out and get that off. And yeah, it still fits nicely in the ridge there with no up and down play. So yeah, could have used that one again. Unfortunately, the lower ring was stuck in there good and proper. We tried degreasing and heating and moving and soaking in crawl overnight, popping it through the ultrasonic cleaner, but it just wasn't shifting. As you can see here, in the end I had to put it in the vise and started off with centre punches, just chipping away at the end of the ring to try and get a bit of movement on it. One side just wasn't moving anywhere, but eventually the other side started to move, so changed to a small punch and knocked it out, so the ring came out. I was sort of hopeful. Well, I wasn't hopeful because the trouble was with the centre punch, it had sort of damaged the very thin end of the rings, so it needed a new ring on it anyway. So I just sort of proceeded to sort of try and peel it out in one piece, but got most of the way round, and then as you see, it just sort of broke about 2/3 of the way round, and the last bit of the ring was well and truly stuck in there. But now with the other bit of ring out of the way, I managed to knock it out and then remove the there's a sort of an expander ring that sits behind the lower ring. Now you don't get this on pattern ring parts, but it does come with the genuine Honda set, and I've managed to attain a set of those, so I've got a new set of rings coming. So yeah, we're not worrying about breaking the ring, but the broken ring was quite handy for using to I don't know where it's gone. It's gone. That's what happens when you tidy up. But yes, with a broken bit of ring and then filed flat, it allows you to get in the groove there and use that as a tool to clean it out, ready for the new rings to go in. So yeah, that's polished up okay. There's a bit of hardly seeable, little bit of eating away at the surface, just tiny, nothing to affect it. So we'll give it we've sort of Scotch Brighted it, we'll give it a light polish, and yeah, that'll be good to go back in. Now the carburettor wasn't just a job of just popping it off. It was a real struggle. It unbolted okay, but actually disassembling the carb was a real fight. So the fuel in there had turned to a varnish. I managed to clean most of it off. These bits are clean, but there's a little bit left in. Most of it's gone. But anyway, it was really goopy in the bottom of the float bowl. The float bowl, I had to warm that up with a blowtorch to relieve it off of the seal, but that came off with a bit of heat. Wasn't worried about it catching fire because it'd been sat on the dry for 20 years, so there wasn't any flammable liquids left in there. So just gently heated it, didn't go nuts because we don't want to melt the carburettor or some of the plastic fittings that are attached to it. So I got the float bowl off. The next thing was to get the throttle slide out, and that was stuck in there well and truly. Yeah, this is what had happened. The fuel had gone off and it was on the float, on the throttle slide and the choke slide. You can see now, look, where it's been allowed to sort of dry out a bit and a bit cleaner. It's like shellac, gone off like a varnish like that. And the trouble is, it was on the side of the slide, and it just on the inside of the carb, and it just glued itself together. So again, blowtorch gently around here, trying not to melt the choke union here, just gently heating it, and the heat eventually softened up the varnish enough to sort of withdraw the throttle slide. So nearly there, but then the last thing to get undone was the choke. Normally you undo the union, plastic union, and it just comes out. There's a piston that's on the cable at the moment that sits down there with a brass piston with a rubber base to it that just seals that hole up at the bottom there. And when it's open, more fuel comes through, so that's how your choke works. And then it goes back down and shuts that fuel supply off. and again that was full of varnish, and it had glued the brass into the aluminium to the point that I was literally pulling like this on the cable and it just wouldn't move, and it sort of damaged the union a bit because it's under spring tension and I couldn't get it all the way out to try and pull it out. So again, tiny little blowtorch, one of these. These are really useful. They give you a tiny little flame, hang on, like that, and it's ever so hot, but it's very accurate, so you can sort of get it round intricate parts. So I managed to sort of warm it round here and round there and just warm this chamber up. It took a lot of heating without melting this top piece, but eventually the heat soaked through and softened the varnish and managed to withdraw the choke. So then we just sort of pop these parts in the ultrasonic cleaner again, and over here we've got the idle speed adjustment screw and the idle mixture screw. Took them out. What we've done with those, or what you do with those, is you count the turns, you wind them all the way in so that they go down onto the stop. So you count the turns in, and then when they hit the stop, you make a note of that and then wind them out. And then the same on the idle screw, wind that in till it stops. I think it's about just over 1 1/4 turns, which is about fairly average, and then wind it out again so that, you know, when you put it back in, you wind it back to the stop and wind it out 1 1/4, and that should be where it was before you took it apart. So yeah, cleaned them up, put all this in the ultrasonic cleaner, put these in the ultrasonic cleaner. Yeah, didn't put the float in the ultrasonic cleaner because plastic reduces the efficiency of the ultrasonic cleaner with plastic in it. Yeah, and then just sort of checked all the fuel ways and airways on the carburettor, but they were really blocked. I mean, this choke one, which is a big hole compared to some of the other drillings, you know, that wire waggles around in there, quite happy. That was solid, and yeah, here's some. I ended up having to sort of put a little drill through, and this is some. Look, this is some of the varnish that came out of it. I had to sort of keep going in with a twist drill, not going nuts, just putting a size in that slid in there easily enough, and then just sort of work it with your fingers and then pull it out and clean the varnish off and go back in, keep going in, clean it out, and then sort of going up with the drill sizes, you know, just with your fingers. You not want to take any brass or aluminium off, you know, so you just keep going up a size until it's a nice sliding fit, and you know you're sort of on the size, you know, and use this hole as a gauge of what size drill you need. You know, you can pop it down that way and see what drill fits in there nicely without resistance. Yeah, so that one's clear. The main jet is clear. Let me put a light underneath for you. Yeah, there you go. Main jet is clear. But at the moment, I'm struggling with the idle fuel supply, which is this one. So yeah, this tube sits in the petrol, and then air goes in this hole here. No, hang on. That's the choke one. Air goes in this hole here. So it goes a lot long there, and then the Venturi effect pulls the fuel up from the fuel bowl here up this tube, comes into this chamber where your idle mixture screw goes, and then that just controls the mixture of air and fuel that then goes up through the other tiny hole. Hang on, see if I can just point it to you. I'm trying to do this. That hole just there in front of the main jet hole. But that is blocked. Well, I think it's okay that way. I can get if I put WD-40 through, it will come out of that hole. But the hole I've got a problem with is not so much this tube. I've managed to clear that out, but it's at the top, the hole through the casting that comes up into this chamber is block solid. So I need to try and clear that out. And the trouble is, because this tube is so long, I normally use these drill sets, because you can, you can drop them down with your fingers and not cause any damage, or not drill any metal out. You can get all the gunge out. But the trouble is, the smaller ones, I think it's quite a small hole, because you don't want to force it and make the hole bigger than it should be. These stick out the hole. You can just about get a pair of pliers on them and twist them, but that's about as much as you can get. So I've got to keep working at that. Bought some, well, they're marketed as wires for jets, these things, but they're not really. These are they're marketed as carburetor cleaning wires, but they're really for gas torch jets. But we might have luck with that one. That might be thin enough to go through there. I mean, that hole there could go through there and down through there, which is probably likely. They probably drilled it through that way or through that way. But it might be a smaller hole, so I don't want to risk, making it larger than it should be. So I just have to keep softening it and working it. In fact, I might put a bit of heat on it if this doesn't work. But yeah, see, it's just not going through. Or has it cleared? How far are we? I don't know, we might be there. Let's have a look. No, I can't see with you in the way, so I'll have a look at that later. But that's the main problem on that. I think once we've cleared that hole, that carburetor, we'll be fine to go back together and just finish cleaning the bottom of that filter bowl. Oh, we've got to clear this hole as well. Hang on a minute, we can try that on camera. This hole here, now it's so gungy you couldn't even see this brass jet fitting here. This is the fuel supply for the choke. So fuel goes in here, sits in this chamber here, and then this is the jet tube that sits in there and sucks the fuel up when you pull the choke plunger off of its seat there. I think it's okay now, but that was absolutely coked up. But yeah, you see that wire goes in there quite nicely, and I think it's bigger than that, so you can keep going up a size, and gently with it, just sort of clean the muck out of it. But you don't want to you don't want to force something through there and start making the jet size bigger than it is. So twiddle around with that when you're not about. Another progress, managed to gain a go control, sort of second-hand throttle, front brake, switch assembly, and yeah, so it all looks in good order. It's got the brake switch on it, just missing the choke controls, but I've got all that on the other one, so out of the two I can make one good unit. So progress on the go control. So managed to get the carb cleaned up to a reasonable standard. Happy that it can go back together now. I managed to clear all the airways and fuel ways, so the idle jet is clear, main jet is clear, all the air inlets for the idle jet, choke, and the supply to the main jet that goes in this chamber here around the main jet, which have lots of little holes in it to help bubble up the mixture. Yeah, they're all clear. fuel inlet's clear. Yeah, like I said earlier, they're a real battle to get all the gunk out of them. But yeah, they're all nice and clear. Float bowl's as clean as we're going to get it. Looks like there's sort of like, you know, sandy edges there and there, but that's there's nothing there really. I was sort of cleaning it out with a scraper like this, going right into those corners, so that's not going to cause any issue. That stuff there, we managed to clean the choke jet there. As I said earlier, the fuel needs to get through here to sit in this chamber here, and then when you open the jet, you sort of pull the plunger up off of that seat. It sucks fuel up through here into this chamber, mixes with air going in there, and then the resultant air fuel mixture goes through this little side hole just there and comes out into the carburettor there. See that shadow? Just comes in the side just there, up above, and sort of drops down. So yeah, so that's how your choke fuel gets in. Yeah, so all happy with that. Got the varnish off the slide, so the slide goes in there nice and easy now. So won't have any troubles with that. So we can pop that in there for safekeeping, and we can pop in our idle adjusting screw, which is this one. That one there. So make sure we get the right screws for the right. That's your mixture screw. This one here for the idle mixture. And that's your idle speed. And then we've got the two springs. It should be fairly obvious which one goes on which. That one goes on there. That one goes on there. Easy mistake to make. And then drop it on the floor. I'll pop that in there. And then what I'll do is push the slide down and then just do this up till it just starts to open. There, see? Pop it down. See? There you go, like that. Drop it down a bit. Okay, and then we'll pop in the idle mixture screw. And I'll do this all the way in till it goes down on the stop. There, and then it was just over 1 1/4, so half, 1 1/4 and a bit. And that should be about where it was when we took it apart. Okay, and then next we need the float. It's cleaned up okay, managed to get all the lacquer off of that, and it floats okay, so it does what it's meant to do. There's the little hinge. We cleaned the varnish off of that as well, so the float doesn't stick on it. And then we have the needle valve, which is absolutely tiny. Look, absolutely tiny. But the amazing thing is, like its big brother on the bigger carburettors, that little pip at the end actually sprung loaded. Look, absolutely tiny. What a work of art. Yep, so that slides in there, that little shoulder goes on the float there. Balance it all like that. And then we try and pop it in without dropping it all. Like that, like that. There we go. It should go like that. And then we've got the screw for for securing it. No, we haven't. What have I done with that? Bear with. Panic over, I found it. I'd had a big tidy up in the workshop and a hoover round, and so I've had the hoover bag apart. I've been going through with my magnet. I gave up when I got about halfway through the bag because I know hoover's been up there a while. So then I went around the floor with my magic wand. See these? These are good, these are. Anyway, and yeah, there it is. How do we know? Got the old JIS, Japanese dot on the cross, just there, and also it's covered in varnish. So, phew! Let's put that in the carburettor before we lose it. And just to doubly prove it, it's got the witness mark where it rested against the float bar there. Right, so pop that in with the old JIS screwdriver. There we go. That ain't going nowhere. So that's in. There's no jets to put in because they're all fixed. Got the idle mixture adjuster and the tick over adjuster in. Bottom of the float bolt. Let's put the drain screw back in. Clean it back all up. Put a little bit of silicone grease on the O-ring. Now, I know it's the old O-ring, but we're trying to preserve as much of what was on the bike as possible, just replacing bits that we can't get away with not replacing. So, like the go control missing, we needed that, so but we found a second-hand one, so it's sort of the same age. There we go, that's in. And then again, the seal around there looks in pretty good order. I'll give it a little bit of silicone grease just to revitalise it a little bit. And then pop that on. So there's the choke tube, goes in the little choke chamber there. And then put our two screws in that we haven't lost. And again, yeah, they've got that little JIS pip there to identify them. Do them up evenly. Then give them a little nip. There we go. All done. Slides in there, ready for the cable to go back on, but we'll keep it in there, keep it safe. Choke cable. Plunger's missing because it's still attached to the choke cable. That's still seized. I'm trying to unseize that. Yeah, so hopefully we'll get that back on. But yeah, that's all ready to go back in. Plus the O-ring there. Like I say, we'll give that a little bit of lubing up. Just want to see if she runs as she was after we've got her unseized. So far the only new bits, well, second-hand bits will be the throttle control. New bits will be piston rings, which I've managed to locate, genuine Honda ones, in lovely packaging. Look at that. Look at those embossed Honda logos on the cardboard. God knows how old they are. Yeah, so they're ready to go back on the piston. We just pop that back in there. There we go. Ready to go back on the bike. Right, let's continue getting the rolling stuff rolling again. So I'm going to take the back wheel off, check the brakes. I'm going to take this rear mud guard off, just to make getting the wheel off easier. So I'll undo it from there. That's attached to the intake manifold. We'll also take the intake manifold off as well and just check that the reed valves aren't broken or stuck. So we'll do that as well. Get this mud guard off and repair this bracket, sort that out. Okay, I'll remove the split pin because we're in England and that's what we call them. We're not repairing a bicycle and it's not a cotter pin. I need some bigger pliers. There we go. Go big or go home. Right. What size are you? 17? Yep, 17. Ah, okay. Might have to push the brake on. I suppose everything's going round now. The piston's out. Okay. Got to figure a way. Oh, hang on, just hold it. There we go. There we go, just hold the wheel. Silly boy. Right. Now, will we need the tool of persuasion to get the wheel off the axle? We shall see. Let's get this mud guard out of the way. Okay, I'll pop it back in there so we don't lose it, as it seems a bit of a habit at the moment with this. And then because the other side's broken, that should come off. Feed that round. There we go, mud guard off. So if we can undo the other bracket. Yep, oh, give it its due. Everything is coming undone quite nicely. Well, apart from the cylinder head, but we're getting over that. And then pop that back in there for safekeeping. See what I said about working in the dirt, you always find things. If you saw the other video, found a throttle spring in the dirt. Okay, place your bets, seized or not seized. Ooh, not seized, but ooh. But yeah, Minky. The big reveal. Oh, should they wobble around like that? There we go. Blimey. It's like old Uncle Ted's ashes on the mantelpiece. It's about £3 lighter. I don't know, it seems alright. Yeah, they're okay. They'll clean up. Got a bearing there. Sealed for life. We might try and get some grease in that if we can get into it. Just got to work out how to get these shoes out because I think we need a new set of rear brake shoes. Oh yeah, there's the other liner. I can see that. Okay. Or some Araldite. No, maybe some new ones. Or some Araldite. No, definitely new ones. Okay, let's see if we can get these brakes apart. It's all full of cobwebs, but is there a 10 or an 8? I bet that's an 8. what we're doing in there. We've got a sort of spring bouncing around in there for some reason. It's meant to be a wear indicator in there as well, according to the manual, but I think this might be it. Seems fairly loose in there, so I think hopefully we can get this arm off. It'll slide out. So 8mm. Hopefully it's just a pinch bolt. I don't know how the hell you meant to line it up when you put it back together again. I'll sort of say in line just above that screw hole there. So remember that next time I ask you when I put it together. The Honda manual sort of tells you how to adjust it and do all the measurements, make sure it's in tolerance. They actually tell you how to take it apart, which is useful. Something is moving. There we go. That's moved out a bit. So hopefully that will move. And that will come that way a bit. Annoyingly, there's not enough clearance to get it all the way off. Okay, we're getting somewhere though. I think we need to sort of free off the pivot at the front. Right, some of that on there. You can't hook these springs out because they hook in under the shoes, so you really need to take this, get this middle bit out for the shoes to collapse enough to spring it off of this ridge on the back post. Yep, got one. Let's get that other one. There we go. There we go. Got it. Got it, got it, got it. Excellent. We dropped everything in the dirt. Another spring. Wear indicator. Brake arm. And dust protector. And then, now these are together. Try and get that spring off the back post. They really are quite tenacious. There we go. Cool, yeah, well and truly stuck on that pillar. And then some of the cheap stuff. Well, that's sheared off. Mind you, that makes life a bit easier. There we go. We're off. Maybe super glue. Super glue and araldite? Yeah, that'd be fine. Clean this up a bit. Bearing still looks okay. But if this is the state of the brake shoes, we might need to take the cover off and have a look in here. But I think that'll be for another video. But before you leave me, I will take the reed block out and check that out. Reveal the screws, one there, one down there amongst the cables. There we go, I can see it. Is there a third one? There's a third one the other side of it. There we go, let's try this. Oh, blimey. That's going to need some heat and some fiddling. So I think we'll leave that till the next video. So, there you go. Hope you liked it. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get away with reusing those brake shoes, so I'll have to have a little look on the old interweb of things and find some to replace those. But everything else looking okay. I'm going to delve into the transmission and have a look in there, because if that rear brake's that state, and also found the bottom of the crank where it was sort of sitting in sort of oil and moisture, and that it's a bit rusty at the bottom edges. Bearings are okay, but I just need to clean that rust out, because it's all tiny little gritty dust that's all falling in the bottom of the crankcase, so I want to get that out if I can. Not going to split the cases, because that sort of defeats the object of trying to get it to run as much as is as it was found on the drive. So yeah, we're just going to take the cover off the transmission. We're not even going to drain it, because the manual says you can tip the bike over on its side, take the cover off, and check it all without losing any oil. So we're going to do that. All right, so till next time, see you again. Hope you liked it. If you did, give us a little like and hit subscribe. And any more dinner lady stories on Honda Expresses, share them down below. We all love those. And I'll see you next time. All right, cheerio. Yeah, I'm going to sneak the stool back, Jenkins. She's gone now. Yeah, stoolie. What, the guy with half a finger? No, you're thinking of Val Dunica. But I like the stool. Well, I'll put a little link to the but I like the stool. Oh, hello. Well, but I like the stool. Bloody hell. So, there you go. Hope you liked it. Continuing with.
Yo voy a cantar esta canción para mi gente.